What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Jock here, up $297 in the first hour of trading. We'll go over the trades. I actually finished the day over $1,500, but the first hour of trading, we really just didn't see any runners, which, you know what, is to be expected. The market in the past 2 3 days have been absolutely kind of nuts. We've seen down 400 points, down 300 points, and then the market will retrace all of that loss and then end up, green on the day. I mean, it's just been absolutely crazy. So the market's just been nuts. So I don't expect to see any crazy runners during this time. That being said, I did take a few trades. The first one was DCIX. This one, when I pulled it up, first off, it was on watch because they put out a little bit of news right before the market opened up. It was nothing amazing, it was just a continued contract news, whatever. It's nothing that's going to make the stock move a lot, but it could make it move a little bit. It's a low float stock. On the daily chart, if you look down the bottom left there, you can see that it's kind of curling up now. It's running into that 20-day moving average though, so that was going to be a resistance. But just keeping it on watch because there's absolutely nothing else that was interesting, honestly. So what I did is when I pulled it up, my entry was going to be if you see right there on the 1 minute chart right in the middle of the screen, you see that it's basically an opening range. I know it starts off a little bit pre-market where the news came out, but basically, you could play it one of two ways. You could play it for the break of 346 to the top side and go long when that happened, or you can short it if 315 broke. So that's kind of like an opening range right there. And all I was doing is watching to see which end of that spectrum would get broken. In this case, you'll see that as it looked like volume was coming in and that 345, 346 level is going to break, I went long. And there's two things going for me there. That $half mark, which a lot of people will buy into, that 350 mark, people will buy into it looking for that break. That's one thing. And then also Hive day break. So there's two reasons why people would buy there. So as soon as it looks like it's going to get to the top of that opening range, I buy. As soon as I get over 350, I scalp it and I sell. And the reason is I'm not trying to hold this right now because, again, the past 2 days there hasn't been any runners really at all. So it's like I'm going to be scalping until there is a runner out there. I think the last runner we had was BSPM, and I can't remember if that was Monday or Friday of last week. I can't remember, but it's been a few days since we've had a really, really good runner. And even on that day, it was just BSPM. There was nothing else. So until something changes, it's going to be scalping. So here's this trade.
OPGN, watching the level 2, DCIX I'm watching.
I'm long DCIX.
Long at
346.
350.
Scalping it out 353.
375 on DCIX to add if it shows strength and we get a first pullback opportunity.
Got to on this kind of day. I don't trust anything yet. So BURG is the next trade, and this one I really, really have been playing a lot recently. Whenever it seems to hit the high day scanner, I'll play it. Whenever the large chat rooms play it, I jump in. And that's kind of what happened today. I'm kind of upset with myself because I was watching pre-market and I absolutely would have played this a little bit earlier had I been paying attention, but I wasn't. So what happens is a large chat room jumps into this thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about BURG. So I immediately jump in. Once I hear that they jumped in, I knew it was going to bring Momo into this stock. It's only a 3 million share float, and it can move big time. So it had a really great daily chart. You can look at it on the daily chart in the bottom left hand corner. It's breaking out on the daily chart now over that 425 level. It's got room all the way to 5, and there's nothing in the way. So I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to make a killing on this thing. The thing's going to run today. This is going to be the one thing that runs today on this crappy market. So I chase a little bit, to be honest. I get in because the chat room got in, and I didn't stick to my plan. My plan was to scalp, and I got a little bit greedy. What you'll see is I get in, you'll see that I'm very green on it, and it gets up to 450, and I'm like, okay, as soon as it breaks 450, I'm going to sell, and it couldn't break 450. And instead of cutting it loose, I held and I held looking for that 450 break. which ended up just not coming, and I actually had to sell for a loss on this thing. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. I didn't stick to my guns. If this was any time in early January and the stock hit the scanners like this thing would have taken off like crazy. But we're not in the same market as we were 2 3 weeks ago. It's a different market, so you have to change your strategy. I should have scalped this. There hasn't been a stock recently, like I said, that has been running, and this is one that used to run but is not going to run today, as you can see, as you'll see in just a second, because it's a different kind of market. So here's the trade.
I'm long BURG with John. I'd add on a BURG over 450 around the first 1 minute micro pullback. Watch, this has room up to 514, so I'll watch it over 450. Watch the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. High is 450.
Watching Berg over 450.
All right, so you can see that I had an opportunity to sell this and be very profitable on it. At one point, I was over $400 profitable on this trade, but I didn't take it because I was looking for that 450 break. Now I'm kind of stuck here. The stock is like under the VWAP. We had that big breakdown, and what I really didn't like about that red candle that you see there on the 1 minute chart is it came all the way down to where this move started at the $4.10 level. So that made me a little worrisome, and honestly I should have sold right now. It just what I was kind of looking for here is I was waiting for this candle to close. If it closed just how it is right there, then I'm thinking, okay, this next 1 minute candle coming up will give me a candle over candle, and people that weren't in on the initial pop, they'll jump in on the stock on this one, on this opportunity, and then I might get that 450 break. My stop, my absolute I have to get out would have been the break of the previous 1 minute candle, which is that red candle there. I'm like, if it just completely retraces 100% from where the move started, which is like $4.10, somewhere in there, that means the move isn't strong and that I just need to bail and get out and find the next one, and I don't need to become a bag holder and hold this thing. So as you'll see here in just a second, I have to bail. I end up losing money on it. But as the volume, you'll see there's like a 10-cent spread on this thing, and people are still hitting the bid. Like, that's not a good sign. If there's a 10-cent spread and people are trying to bail and smashing that bid, it's just not a good sign. And as soon as it starts to creep down towards that 410 level, I sell early because I anticipate everybody else is going to bail. So I want to get out early. I want to be the first one out. I don't want to be the last one out. And you'll see what this stock does when all those traders that were trapped end up pushing the sell button at the same time. So I was lucky to get out where I got out, because it could have been a lot worse.
Wow. And that sell off on Berg.
Holy crap. So Roku, this was my next trade. This one was a pure news play. You'll hear Benzinga come in talking about unconfirmed chatter that Roku is working with Disney, and you'll see how I play this. So what I'd like to do whenever I hear any kind of news play is, as soon as I hear Benzinga chime in, I'm automatically put my cursor over the symbol window to type in the symbol. Once he says the symbol or the company and I know the symbol, I type it in, and then I go ahead and get my order ready. I don't even know what the news is. I don't know if it's good or bad yet, but I have the buy or the short button ready to go. And in this case, I thought it would be a buy button. So I'm hovering over the buy button. So what happens is he says Roku, something like Roku working with Disney. I immediately hit the buy button. That's going to be a positive for Roku. I know it's probably rumor and it's probably fake, but it's enough to move the stock. So once I hear those keywords, I go buy. I don't wait to hear the whole news thing. You know, I got to be the first one in. If I'm playing these news plays, I have to be the first one in. So when he says those keywords, I buy then. And the stock pops up, it goes to 450, and I'm looking to sell. Again, I'm looking to sell over that 450 mark, and it doesn't crack it. So the spread gets kind of wild, and I actually end up selling. It could have come down pretty quick too, as you can kind of see here on this chart. You know, the move started at 440. I don't know if that's where the rumor started and Benzinga is getting it late, but I didn't want to stick around and find out. So I ended up selling when the spread was like 28 cents or 18 cents, something like that. And I just happened to get a good fill. So I got filled here at 41.36, and I ended up selling, I think, at 41.39. So not a big, or I can't, you'll see what my buy price is. Maybe it's 41.32, I think is what the average ends up coming to be out. So I make about 7 cents on this one, but it was a lucky 7 cents. I got a good fill on the way out. But that's how I play. I get ready to type in that symbol. As soon as I hear the keywords that I'm looking for, I go ahead and buy. And if I'm wrong, I'm ready to sell immediately too. So here's the trade.
ROKU, Roku, traders circulating unconfirmed chatter of talks with Disney about making the Roku streaming media player part of Disney's recently announced streaming media service. That is unconfirmed chatter being circulated now in chat rooms on ROKU and DIS.
So OHGI, this one is a low float stock that I've been watching recently. I've been watching this daily chart. As you can see here on the daily chart, it popped up about a week ago, and ever since then it's been kind of selling off and flagging, but it hasn't like sold off 100%. It's actually like Fibonacci around the 50% mark, or maybe this, you know, the 61% mark there. So I'm just waiting for that first daily candle over candle. And another reason why I really like it is because it held up well. I mean, the market the past 2-3 days has had a humongous sell-off, and this stock has actually held up very well during that, considering. So I was waiting for that first candle over candle. Yesterday's high was 233, so I was going to play for the break of 233 today if it happened, and which you'll see, and I'll narrate it as we go, and just kind of we'll just start rolling it here, and I'll just narrate as we go. So I just pulled up OHGI, and I'm looking at it, and I see that big block of 11,000 shares at 230, and I'm like, I want a piece of that. I want to get in a little early, and someone just bought it all. So when I bought it all, I just jump in. I bought 4,000 shares. This is the play I've been waiting for. I thought that volume coming in would continue. So when it didn't continue, and I have 4,000 shares, and it didn't go candle over candle, I was getting a little worried there. I was like, So I sat in a little bit, just kind of waiting. Lucky enough for me, the volume did start to trickle in here, and looking for that daily candle over candle. And finally, we're right at there. You know, the 234 would be candle over candle. We got that. A little bit more volumes coming in, a little bit more volumes coming in. And the stock was kind of creeping up. It didn't, you know, it's still only 100,000 shares of volume on the day at this point. So it's not really blowing up anybody's scanners just yet. But, you know, people that might have been keeping their eye on it, they're jumping in at this point. I do like how the L2 is, you know, still holding up. You know, it is extended. If you look at that 1 minute chart, it's kind of just way up there. And I just kind of was a little anxious. I was like, should I sell? Should I get out right now? Because it's not doing exactly what I thought it would do. Um, but buyers did end up coming in. It did start moving up. The volume did come in there looking for that 240 break. Now, like I said, I got burned earlier on BURG. So I do lock in some profit here. And you can kind of feel when the momentum changes, right? When the stock starts to fizzle a little bit, you can kind of feel that. So I ended up locking in, and it probably happens pretty soon here. Like I said, it took 4,000 shares, so I'm okay with just dumping 2,000, making sure I have profit. It felt like, you can see that right there on the time and sales, right? A bunch of red going through, that means people are selling. So, and if you look at the 1 minute chart there, it's pretty extended out of the Bollinger Bands, pretty hard there. It just felt like the volume's just stopping, and I didn't want to be in the down part of this trade and be up $400 and not have anything. So I lock in half, and right now it's just like I'm thinking to myself, if 240 breaks, I'm gonna get out. Right here you can see that the ask is way bigger than the bid, and I end up bailing once I start seeing that red candle form and just there's no bid there anymore. So I want to be the first out, making sure I get a good exit. And I believe after this, the stock actually pulls back all the way to 230. It didn't make a nice run at the end of the day, but that's how it finished. And I was happy to lock in my profit. I was going to scalp it. I'm not trying to hold and wait for a runner at this point, because the market hasn't shown me it's going to do that. So I'm happy with the 10-cent win on 4,000 shares. So my next play was OHGI again. This one, it held up well, so I was still hopeful that there's another play on it. And this one was a 1 minute candle over candle. So we had the first spike, which is the one I played earlier. Now we have a pullback candle. And then on this candle right here, I'm looking for a candle over candle. I want to buy as soon as that happens. And I got a kind of a bad fill. I got filled at 244. Normally, as soon as I see that volume come in, I want to buy immediately. And get in a little early to get a better entry. So I got a bad entry on this one, and it spiked up. And in this move, I'm looking for a spike, and I'm looking for it to run to 250. Like, the closer it gets to 250, usually buyers, it's like a moth to the flames. They start jumping in because they're trying to get in for that 250 break. So in this case, we popped up, got new high a day, and you saw there on that 1 minute, it just jumped really quick. So or fell really quick, and I just sold here because it didn't do what I thought it would do, and it ended up starting to go like it was going to go candle under candle, and I just didn't want any part of that. I'm not trying to stick around for this. The trades so far today have shown me that nothing is strong, so it's just a scalper's paradise right now. So when it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, I cut it loose and I move on. So my next play is a news play. This one is on KTOV. This is a stock I am familiar with in the fact that I know that it's a low float stock. So you'll see again, when I hear the Benzinga guy come on, I immediately put in the ticker once he says it, and I wait for what kind of news it is. As soon as I know it's positive news, I buy. I don't wait for the whole story to be told to me. I just need to know if it's positive or negative. In this case, it was positive. I bought immediately. All it was just a passive stake by someone with a 13D filing, but sometimes that's enough to pop the stock. And I took this because, as you can see here on the 1 minute chart, there's really no volume coming in. So if I get in early, I'm only risking 5-6 cents here. If I had to sell, but my payoff could be the break of $3 and make 10, 11, 12 cents, maybe more if it ran. I don't know. But I wanted to get in early on this. So you'll see as soon as I hear it, I buy. As soon as it pops over 3, again, I'm just scalping because the market hasn't shown me that it wants to run anywhere. As soon as it pops over 3, I sell.
KTOV, Kitov Pharma, 13G filing. Rosalind Advisors reporting a passive stake of 9.7% in KTOV, Kilo Tango Oscar Victor. Shares of Kitov getting some volume now.
TLV 13G.
$2.95. Hopping on that filing. $3.03 now on KTOV.
So my next trade is BSPM, and this one was interesting to me because all the chat rooms that I subscribed to were watching this. So basically what I'm looking for here is you had that first pop-up that got high day, you had the previous 1 minute candle that was a pullback candle. Now I'm looking for that 1 minute candle over candle, and as soon as that happens, I buy right there. And you can see that's that candle over candle, brought in volume into the trade, and I scalp it. I just sold in and out that quickly, in at 332, out at 340. I'm not looking to hold, like I said, because the market has not told me that it is willing. And look at that pullback. That's why you can't hold it right now. I mean, it went from 340 to 322. Like, it almost retraced, the whole move. It just happened right there. I think it does end up going high day again, but I'm just scalping it right there. That was 8 cents in a matter of 5 seconds. So $160. I'm happy with that. That's how I end the first hour. And, like I said, I do end up making a lot more later on some news plays, but to be green the first hour of trading in this kind of market, you got to pat yourself on the back because it has been hectic the past few days. So if you're interested in the way I trade, I do run a free Discord chat. The link for that is in the description down below. Also, if you're interested in any of this of the chat rooms that I subscribe to personally, the link for those are also in the description below. And if you have any questions on those, feel free to ask. Like I said, I'm in Discord. You're welcome to come in and ask any questions that you have, whether on the rooms I subscribe to or my trading style in general. So I made the Discord chat to help new traders out. So please take advantage of it. And again, if you're also an experienced trader, we're always looking for more experienced traders to call out what they see during market hours. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.